this narrative of constitution change, they said that Congress has amended the constitution 120 times. The word should not have been changed. The word should have been amended.
Food inflation or general inflation is so high that on one hand, if you're giving someone something, you're also taking it away.
Everyone's aware of the Mumbai terror attacks. This very man was sharing the podium with Digvijay Singh, the ex-chief minister of Madhya Pradesh, on a stage in Mumbai, saying RSS ki sajish.
Pawar was so corrupted and you were giving gali to him, and the next evening, what was the need to induct Ajit Pawar? Because it had Shinde, it had his own government. What was the need to induct?
Yogi said कि भाई ये 5 लाख का जमीन है तुम ले लो, and उसके बाद अब वो ताज wanted to build a property there, अब उसका property हो गया 50 लाख, तो अब वो लोग बोल रहे देखो हम लोग के संग कितना बड़ा धोखा कर दिया.
People are struggling for their food, so they say why we don't want industry, we want our local shops which we can run and we can earn our livelihood, right? So your view and their view does not mean that their view is wrong and your view is correct, right?
Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of the most random political podcast. We're just 4 friends. My name is Anant, this is Ajit, this is Kshitij and this is Umesh.
Hi.
We are friends in real life and we just talk about random political bakchodis all the time. And we have these insane debates with each other on politics and the most random things. We thought why not do it on camera. And the elections just concluded recently and we saw the entire results. Okay, so guys, this is the first podcast. I know we are all very apprehensive and jittery about how it will go, but we all know that we are here to make money and we want to make sure that we get enough views. And it's all about the views. So whatever you guys want us to say, please let us know and we'll say it. And if you pay us money, we'll change our opinion also.
And snacks also.
And snacks also. And we are also looking for food sponsors because I'm a health influencer. And we'll put your branding as well. Yes, I want to start this, whatever this is, with a bang.
Discussion.
Like, you know, we just saw the elections and I mean, for most right-wing people, it was disappointing. And like people who won actually lost. People who lost seemed like they won. So the BJP recently won the elections, but it seemed like they lost. And the Congress seems like they won.
Definitely about anti-arrogance. There's no doubt about that. And apart from that, I don't think BJP is lost in any manner whatsoever. If you look at the numbers. In terms of vote share, yes, the seats have come down. 63 odd seats they've lost,
But do you think that makes Modi a little less powerful? Because you know, like he had that arrogance and we all saw that in his face, like when he was giving that speech in the BJP headquarters, like he had a small face.
I think he was in little jittery mode in the last 2-3 phases of elections. And to be very frank, it is definitely if not anti-Modi, but definitely, as you said, anti-arrogance. People have clearly said that they are not going to believe in the arrogance which the leaders have shown and the complacency in terms of what MPs have given it to, you know, the field they have given it to.
But can I say something? There is this quote where it says that, you know, success has many fathers and failure is an orphan. And because of this failure, we are saying it is anti-arrogance. I mean, if you come down to brass tacks and if you come down to numbers, the number of votes are the same as last year. So how do you call that as anti-arrogant? Like जहाँ पे कहीं कम हुआ है, I agree that Uttar Pradesh went horribly bad. I agree that West Bengal went a little bad, Rajasthan went bad. But there were states where they went horribly good. Like Kerala में पहली बार 20 years में they had
Orissa for example has not been spoken about much. Orissa has done wonders for BJP this year. Obviously maybe an anti-incumbency from Naveen Patnaik, but winning such large number of seats in Orissa, getting a...
I mean, wouldn't you call that a Modi wave?
No, see, I think according to me, there are 2 things that happened here. One is obviously, you know, India is a young population, a growing country. So we have this thing, you know, all of us, because of this young population, we have this thing called FOMO, right? The same thing sort of comes down to elections also. When you see these, you know, when you see the states where BJP is not done really well, you say it's anti-incumbency. I think it's just people wanting change, people wanting just change for the heck of wanting change, because you're bored out of your wits saying that, boss, I'm tired with what's happening right now and I just want change. That is probably where some of the states where, you know, the BJP is not done that well. But more than that, we aren't a country where overt things work. You can't be really loud. You know, you can't bang your chest out loud and go like, okay, I want to get this done. India is not like that. You have to be subtle, you have to be humble. That's a part of our DNA. As soon as you take that out, and you're suddenly being really out there about anything, whether you're really opinionated or whether you're like keep using this word divisive. Whether you're really divisive or really opinionated, I don't think that works any longer.
But again, I'm just circling back to I'll ask you a question on this only. Like, I'm circling back to the same thing. Like, I know that you're, not pro Modi as much, but I'm just saying, like, my question is this. Like, the amount of votes that BJP got last time is same as this time, right? Maybe the distribution was incorrect. Maybe the distribution was somewhere more, somewhere less. And because of that, the seat share they did not get.
If you go into nitty-gritties, definitely BJP has got a good share in South. Tamil Nadu, it has done amazingly well. Obviously, it did not translate into seats, it's a different matter. Kerala, they were very close in 2 seats. 1 seat they won. Gopi, this was Fenders, they got into cabinet also. But what I'm saying is the main states which actually decide the fate of BJP since 1996. 1996 UP, 52 seats.
Hindi heartland.
2004 they got 10. 2009 they got 10, 12. फिर उसके बाद when they came to 2014 they won 62. Right, so UP, Bihar, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, to some extent decide the fate of BJP. So obviously the vote share has increased, but I personally think that the vote share has increased more towards the southern part and the Odisha part. That increase in vote share or that the decrease in vote share of UP has been compensated by the southern states. So UP it has fallen definitely.
It's about perspective.
Yes, about perspective. And I think generalizing ki
Anti-arrogance,
that it is anti-arrogance and it is people just voted for the opposition just because they wanted a change. I probably do not agree to that.
Because see, ultimately, the 38-40% people we did vote for Modi. They did not feel he was arrogant.
I'll tell you why.
Still 62% are still not in favor of the.
Just like last time.
I'll tell you why it's not why it's anti-arrogance. I'll tell you. For example, in UP, if you look at it, there's vote consolidation which has happened. There's no doubt about that. Now look at BJP's vote percentage in UP alone in 24, 41.37. The next party, which is SP, it's got 33.59. Now, nowhere a difference of 8% of vote share can consolidate into that many seats. It's definitely vote consolidation which has happened. This is UP, 80 seats from Lok Sabha. Maharashtra, where BJP lost badly again. 26.18 was the BJP vote share. Now you're having a 6-party fight over there. The next party is Congress, 16.92. Next, you want to talk.
But when you talk about Maharashtra, then it's the other factor.
Mahagadi factor.
It's definitely arrogance. I'll come to that.
Yeah.
Because in the last 6 months, 26 turncoats who shifted parties.
Exactly.
Out of 26, 21 have lost.
But I will give you an example of Nitish Kumar, then Bihar won.
No. The point is, you are saying anti-arrogance is fine. I am saying anti-arrogance not from the voters. Anti-arrogance from the BJP in deciding the candidates, in deciding the campaign.
That I agree to a certain extent.
If it is Modi, we are going to win.
Yes.
It has been a ground situation in UP also. It has been a ground situation in Maharashtra, and the biggest shocker is Rajasthan. So UP, I'll tell you what my thing goes is SP was always Muslim Yadav votes. ठीक है ना कि Muslim vote करो, Yadav vote करो तो SP जीत जाएगा. Now they changed this time. Akhilesh Yadav went on to say कि we will go PDA.
Yeah.
Pichhde, Dalit,
Akhadi.
and
Alpshankit, sorry.
So they're saying minorities also, OBC also, and Pichhde also we are going to.
Is that OBC?
But that worked against BJP.
They worked against BJP. BJP said to BSP
Because
that
what?
if BSP is there, not India Alliance, and we say BSP is fighting alone, then obviously it will cut into votes of SPN. But it worked. I'll give you a simple stat.
But what worked there was this was the statement that was put out and which really stuck with people.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
In Ayodhya specifically.
Because when you're talking about people of there's no better word of that stature, then for them these issues play a very big difference, play a very important role, because today that one seat, that one reserve seat for them in an institute or in a college or whatever can actually change their life. So when you talk about something like when this narrative goes out that you're removing reservation, that becomes a huge.
But that was a fake narrative.
It was, but it played in India fake.
To be very fair, fake
Any
narratives
news
were
is- yeah.
throughout 10 years.
I'll tell you what, there was a conference of IAS officers in Bombay, and in that conference, basically all these IAS officers were saying that, this narrative of constitution change, they said that Congress has amended the constitution 120 times.
Yeah.
The word should not have been changed, the word should have been amended. if someone said that amend कर रहे हैं, of course amend तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
That's where
the amendment
the
was not a
opposition
problem. Yeah.
opposition played on, right? That's what they took out from it, and that stuck with the people. That actually got them to go like, okay, no, giving someone so much power is also not right. Again, coming back to the fact that people are afraid of magnanimous figures to some extent. Yes, every year you have politicians, when you have 2 terms of if you see the world trend, any politician who crosses 2 terms, for 2 terms they're great, leaders. The 3rd term is what defines them. Is either they go towards the direction of being a dictator, or they sort of lose power and they go completely senile and they lose things which become very populist, and just to hold on to power. So the thing is about power, that they want to hold on to that power. So this term, now let's see how it defines.
But do you think that's what Modi is? I mean, from what we've understood about him.
No, honestly, I don't think so. Primarily, what Kshitij is saying is that the narrative of the voters. Now, overconfidence, definitely yes. And in terms of the confidence of the voters or cadre of BJP, if you look at the narrative, you have to counter narrative also. But nothing of that sort happened. Even involvement of RSS also was not.
Yes, this is, I want to specifically ask about that. Like, where was RSS this time?
I have a question. How many of you all know Kripa Shankar? Who's Kripa Shankar?
Kripa Shankar is the RSS leader, right?
No, Kripa Shankar is a Congress leader
Synonym of you.
who shifted to BJP and was fighting from Jaunpur in UP. Now the identity of the person is during 2000 and everyone's aware of the Mumbai terror attacks. This very man was sharing the podium with Digvijay Singh, the ex-chief minister of Madhya Pradesh, on a stage in Mumbai saying RSS ki sajish. Now when you take people like them in your own party,
People will be against that.
you don't have anything else to say.
Yes, absolutely.
Apart from that, you're taking Ashok Chavan, you're taking turncoats 26 mein 21 हार गए. So when you're doing that, your narrative is automatically
Because
lost.
Ajit Pawar is very famous in Bombay to be corrupt. Like, everyone knows that he is in hands with all builders and like he's a corrupt person.
This is the arrogance we are talking about.
Yeah.
When you are fielding candidates not on the basis of Lalan Singh or
Lalan Top.
Lalan Singh who fought from Ayodhya, Faizabad. So he
But
lost.
that was disappointing.
Disappointing is a different word. The point is, you have to draw a line. First of all, he is a very unpopular candidate there. Like, you cannot Avdesh Prasad. So Avdesh now, again, as I spoke about, SP did a wonderful job in selecting the candidates. They had only 4 candidates as Yadavs, and all were from family in deciding the seats.
Dimple
and
Yadav.
this gentleman, Avdesh
Hot.
Prasad, is from a community which is scheduled caste. So he is a community, I think it's called Pasi. So when the campaign was running, anyways, that guy was unpopular. That was and this gentleman is from a scheduled caste, and that is a general category seat. So they put a scheduled caste category and then general category seat, and then they say Iswar na Kashi, only Avdesh Pasi. So that was the statement there, that enough of being narrative being built around temples. Now it is about OBC, it is about our dignity, it is about our share in the...
But there was an interview of that SP candidate who won, where a Hindi channel asked him to say Jai Shri Ram, and he was quiet. He said he will not
now
say
the Modi ji also not saying Jai Shri Ram. Modi ji is also going to Jai
That
Jagannath.
politics is about perception. Even 2014 when Modi came, there was a very crystal clear message to the public. Ab ki baar Modi Sarkar. There was inflation, price rise, X, Y,
That
number of factors.
is not controlled.
In 19 again, BJP had majority. They had a proper sloganing. They had a narrative. In 2024, ab ki baar 400 par.
That was just...
For what?
Like that's true.
For what? Opposition latched
Change of
onto it.
constitution is what they built
Exactly.
on.
So
Yes.
narrative counter karne ka issue. they
Because
could do that.
unemployment is there. Like let's just face the reading on the room. Like, it is 100% there.
Absolutely.
No, it's also about, if you look at the economy there and the economic breakup of the Indian population. Now, who's doing well? Who's succeeding? You're squeezing the middle class. The poor are sort of not really getting too much, and I mean they are the ones who are most reliant on the government for their different schemes, this, that, etc. The only scheme that's probably worked is your Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and
That is just extended right now.
which has just gotten extended, yeah. But the other side of it is the food inflation or general inflation is so high that on one hand, if you're giving someone something, you're also taking it away. So the person at the bottom, strata of the economy or the bottom strata of society is not really going up. You're not really pulling farmers out of the farm to get them to cities or the factories. So there's no industrialization that's happening. The middle class is getting squeezed because the middle class is the largest employer of people, because there's no growth significant growth in the economy. Okay, yes, the government is pumping in money in infrastructure, etc. That will come into effect in due course.
Maybe 5-10 years.
But not now. So when that happens, what do you vote on? What do you want from the government? I mean, what the people themselves are now like, okay, this is something that we're not satisfied with what we have, and then that's why probably you want that sort of section of society goes.
Because even though I'll tell you very honestly,
I think what he has spoken is all right, and this is what I hear from people who are little educated, that unemployment is increasing, middle class is getting squeezed, and malnutrition, everything is there. Then also the narrative which when
I'll tell you why.
it comes to election is into Muslim.
No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
It is not a problem of Modi and BJP that they are building on this narrative. It is what people take
like. No, but I'll tell you another reason why. Okay, I this is my personal opinion. Like, I have a lot of complaints. I vote for BJP. I'm gonna admit it. And I like Modi. I like him as a leader. But like, one of the things that impacts me is, like, I'm educated. I know that there is a big problem in the economy. I think the cost of capital is very high in the country. I think there are a lot of issues, unemployment, price rise, all of this is there. But at the end of the day, I vote for Modi because I don't see an alternative.
Yeah.
And I feel he's not corrupt.
Yeah.
I feel you can say whatever you want about Modi, but he's not corrupt. He's not. See, people are driven by three things: power, money, sex. Right? He might be after power, but he's not after money or sex.
Yeah. He is not after sex. I don't know, but the money definitely is not after. But his counterparts or his the second Motabhai is also after money. No, ultimately it is about, unless there is a money in a political.
See, political party cannot win.
Right. So there are thousands of examples where he has said against nepotism, but there have been nepotism in his own party.
There's no nepotism. He explained that in Parliament. They explained that in Parliament.
Fair enough. There is a thousands of statements from Modi ji where he has said that the party is against corruption.
But you can't be universal in a country like India.
No, but
you can't have a universal.
No, you don't understand. So if you go in Maharashtra and ask, say, I think 25-30 random people and ask, why did you not vote for BJP? So Congress has won 13 seats, right? Mind you, 13 seats in biggest, largest single party in Maharashtra. And when they were supposed to win none. The main narrative which the local has built is when Ajit Pawar was so corrupted and you were giving gali to him, and the next evening, what was the need to induct Ajit Pawar?
No, because local people hate Ajit Pawar.
But what was the need to induct Ajit Pawar? Because it had Shinde, it had his own government. What was the need to induct him for 2 seats?
Coming to Bengal, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
They wanted to break NCP. That was the idea.
But
that was the idea.
But ab kya ho gaya? Break
But then I'll tell you what, we've spoken a lot about UP and Maharashtra. I want to travel to Rajasthan because they just won a very big mandate. What went wrong? Do you think a new chief minister who had no experience, because of that they lost elections?
See, I'll say you two things which, since I also hail from Rajasthan. So you
can start first.
No.
I want to listen to you.
Sarkar actually do. Sarkar
hamari rahega.
So the point which I think is there are two, three things, right? Rajasthan has got a new chief minister. Vasundhara Raje is no more in the. Obviously, she was corrupt, which is like well-known statement, and everybody and BJP cadre did not want Vasundhara Raje at any of the organization levels. But the new chief minister is the first time MLA, has got no experience. So we talk about so many things. When Rahul Gandhi is not a cabinet minister, how can he be a PM? He's got such experience. When he is there in politics for last 20 years, right? This gentleman is an MLA. First time MLA, hailing. He was a little, he was I think a chief of some local BJP unit. So people are not happy with the chief minister for sure, because I mind you, Madhya Pradesh has got a better chief minister.
No, but Ajit, it's just been 6 or 7 months for Rajasthan.
No, it doesn't matter. You have to take steps, no, and he needs experience. See, you talk to people in Rajasthan. I was in Rajasthan for 15-16 days. I talked to a lot of people. They had the same opinion that we don't hate Modi. Modi is good. But what have we got? The Jats, the Rajputs, they've been demanding for a lot of things, but they've not got anything, and they do not seem that they will get in next 2-3 years, because they've got a new chief minister who doesn't know anything, right? If it would have been Ashok Gehlot, they might have pushed. They will not get it, that is for sure. But even if you are pushing something for someone, he might vote for you. But if you're not pushing something for them, but हम लोग मोदी जी को vote करें, we are voting. Rajasthan has got full seats in last 2014, 19 got full seats, 2014 I think also full seats.
One thing you'll agree, Ajit.
So,
even in Rajasthan elections, even previously before Lok Sabha also, there was a very catchy slogan: "Modi tujhse bair nahi, Rani teri khair nahi."
Yeah, it was there.
Dominant in Rajasthan. That's because of anti-incumbency of Vasundhara Raje.
Yeah.
Now my point is that in the 14 elections, 19 elections, you banked on Modi. People are voting only in the name of Modi.
This slogan was in 2019, mind you.
Okay.
In 24, now people have also now looking at the candidates too. You just cannot pick any random person and put him there, and even your cadre is not enthused. Now, for example,
That is right, yeah.
For example, if your people don't come out to vote, or if your cadre does not go out and knock on the doors and say that come out and vote, please.
That
So
is
it
right.
says something about the BJP.
No,
current
absolutely.
predicament.
That does say about
You
him.
cannot just
Yeah,
bank
yeah.
on Modi alone. Now, out of
See,
5.
I don't. I know where you're going. Where you're going
I
with
just,
RSS.
I just finished. No, I'm not coming to RSS. I'll come to that later on because that's a different subject altogether. Now, particularly for Modi's name, you just cannot bank on it alone. It's gone. You need to have candidates who are there at the ground level working for the people and people who are connected to that particular constituency.
That is the reason what we are knowing after the elections. If BJP had known this before elections, they would have done something, no?
See, it's a political party.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure they would be doing their homework and
But do you?
But they
do you-
didn't this
But do you
time.
think that
Yes.
matters? Do you think that matters? I don't know. I think a lot of people don't even know who their MP is when they go out and vote. They're not voting for the person.
But that's for very educated class. The uneducated know.
I think
But
Shitesh,
You'll be surprised, the uneducated know.
They know.
Aren't
They
people,
know.
They
aren't
know.
people
They
voting
know.
for the party when they're voting for
Only
national
people like
elections?
us.
Yes.
People like us don't know.
They know.
The educated class, the
So
uneducated
you're-
people at the
you're
bottom
saying,
know.
You're saying people, who, maybe irrespective of class in society, but people when they're voting in a national elections are not voting for a person, but they're voting for the
Yes.
are voting for a person.
Yes.
but- are voting
Yes,
for the party.
yes.
I do not
It depends
want-
on the local issues.
Yes,
Ayodhya
yes,
mein it was a local issue.
correct.
Ayodhya is so funny. I mean, that place, the economy has changed considerably. There's so much. stuff
I'll tell you
that's
what happened. Ayodhya mein a lot of people lost their land. Not lost their land. I'm sorry. I'll correct myself.
There's a perception.
People got money. So like Yogi said कि भाई ये 5 लाख का जमीन है तुम ले लो. And उसके बाद अब वो Taj wanted to build a property there. अब उसका property हो गया 50 लाख. तो अब उन लोग बोल रहे हैं देखो हम लोग के संग कितना बड़ा धोखा कर दिया.
But, तो फिर वहाँ क्यों हारा?
वही तो बोले, इसलिए तो हार गया.
वो तो हारा ही है. That
See,
is.
but that is
No, I told you. No, see, I told you.
Candidate,
The
you're saying.
problem. No, candidate definitely.
अरे
Yes,
लेफ्टिस्ट आम आदमी
I do not I do not want to come back to UP, but since you have told me that, SP जो बोला कि that 4 only Yadav candidates were there and rest were all OBCs, STs and they won it, completely says that yes, the local MP does make a difference. Why आज if local MP would not have made a difference, Modi would have definitely won, no? What was the reason why Modi lost by 1.5 lakh votes?
One.
Because
One by
Local
one.
This
MP was,
content.
if local MP
See.
was good, then Mukhtar Ansari's son won.
हाँ.
Tell me what is the rationale?
ऐसे तो engineer Rashid won. I'll come to Kashmir later. Khalistani won.
Yeah, exactly.
Arey Baba, see, local issue doesn't mean that you sitting in this office will decide what they like or not. If they like a Khalistani as an MP for them, they will vote for it. You
But
go and
that's
see,
anti-national. That's what I'm saying. Like that's literally he's saying that India से पंजाब को अलग कर दो. So the whole movement is that.
See, I'll give you a
And
simple example.
then Indian people are voting for him. No, कि हाँ कर दो
I'm talking
अलग.
about Mukhtar Ansari. So that is a Muslim dominated area, by the way. Anyways, so मैं बोल रहा हूँ, if tomorrow you set up an industry here, ठीक है, you are pro industry. Oh, why are people against pro industry? Because people are struggling for their food. So they say, why we don't want industry? We want our local shops which we can run and we can earn our livelihood, right? So your view and their view does not match, does not mean that their view is wrong and your view is correct, right? You have to ultimately respect the voters. If it takes to put a scheduled caste or a OBC or anti-Modi for it in a seat for BJP, let it be. So that is how politics is run.
And so basically, again, what you're trying to say is that hyper local issues are more pertinent than national issues.
For
Yes,
some
this is-
some
No,
places,
no.
not all. For some
in an
places.
assembly election or in a
Both.
parliament?
I'm saying for some places.
I think it's the other way around.
No, I'm saying if a person in Jalpaiguri, maybe local person is important. But in a place like Calcutta, you like तो infrastructure manage अपने आप होता
that
है.
makes sense.
No, see,
That makes sense.
particularly 3 states, if you pick it up, na, Maharashtra, UP, and Bengal.
Then
I
he
think
said
the
we don't-
But do you think Bengal is West Bengal now?
No, I don't think so. See, you elect whom you deserve. As simple
He's
as
staying
that.
in Bengal, says no everything, whether it's west or
Now,
west.
if you look at the numbers of BJP in Bengal, it's not done that bad.
And I'm sure.
Because there is no
But the
alternative.
problem is different.
But I hope those numbers translate into seats which is
See,
not there.
I know Irfan Khan. Sorry,
BJP
what's
got
that
63
cricketer?
lakh.
Yusuf
See,
Khan.
But
BJP got 63 lakh more votes in 24.
No, Yusuf Pathan
Seats
seat-
got 63.
Even Kirti Azad won.
Yusuf
Shatrughan Sinha.
Lost or won?
Won.
अरे बाप रे.
One from
Yusuf
us.
Pathan seat is that
Naram.
gentleman Adhiranjan Chaudhary is
He's actually worked, huh? He's a guy
Rampur
who
Hart.
wants-
he's a 6-time MP. Yeah, oh, ठीक है. But at some point of time, no, you people.
A guy from Baroda comes.
Arey, TMC wants Sandesh Khali. Can you believe that?
That is unreal.
That is unreal.
That is unreal. I mean, after the big hue and cry about what happened, it became such a pertinent issue, and that fizzling out and translating into a win for
See,
TMC.
I'll tell
this
you.
is unheard of.
I mean, look, what I think what has worked for TMC is 3-4 factors. One is clearly the freebies. We can what Lakshmi Bhandar, whatever. Or Lakshmi Bhandar, I think. Mamta
But even they are giving 1,000 rupees to
But-
Kanya, no? Or
No,
something.
but that is a central theme, right?
No,
Center.
that's Lakshmi Bhandar.
Lakshmi Bhandar is that TMC wala.
All central themes are converted.
Plus, I
renamed
think
in Bengal.
I think in जैसे last time I think BJP won in this Jhargram and Kuch Bihar where they lost this time.
Yeah.
Barakpur.
Kuch Behar also they
Yes,
lost.
Kuch Bihar they
Yeah.
lost this time. So these are
जहाँ वो bomb hurling
हाँ,
हुआ.
these are
20,000 votes
these are
are
the doesn't matter. These are the seats which BJP won last year with a good margin, and this time they lost. So either this factor that women are with Mamta Banerjee because of the Lakshmi Bhandar, they get something in maternity, ये वो सब जगह सब तरह से पैसे से ऊपर है, or there is something called Bengal sub-nationalism, neo-nationalism, right?
That is true.
There is a very big factor because
People in
they-
Bengal don't like outsiders.
Yeah.
It's like Tamil Nadu.
Yeah,
Yes,
correct.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true at all.
No, people Tamil Nadu see Annamalai was like a prime ministerial candidate.
Kirti Azad
No.
are winning.
TMC.
Yusuf Pathan
No,
are winning.
they are voting
This
for
narrative,
TMC.
This narrative is not.
They are voting for Mamta
TMC.
Banerjee.
Yeah.
They are voting for
Why
Mamta
in
Banerjee.
Bengal, I think why BJP lost was because of infighting amongst the
See,
BJP candidates.
if Congress candidates coming to BJP are winning from BJP with the name of Modi, why can't people coming from outside can win in name of Mamta Banerjee?
But now again, tell me this when we.
But BJP doesn't protect the cadre in West Bengal.
But
anyway.
when we're looking at this, when you were telling me that people in Bengal have voted on the basis of Mamta Banerjee, what do they get out of it? What role, even after voting for her, what do they think? What role can she
No,
play in national
they-
politics? So I
That thinking is limited,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
because I really believe in that double engine ki sarkar. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. India has a federal structure, yes, but when center and state align, there can be nothing better for the state as a whole, because all the schemes etc. are decided by the center. You become a part of the machinery. When they don't align, which is what is happening here, people are still voting for Mamta with what belief that she can go to the national level and play some role. You are.
But there is a false narrative also. She says CA नहीं होने देंगे, NRC ने अब हो गया, मतलब मिल गया.
इसीलिए what happens is after election we fight why Bengal is performing like that, why TMC is coming, why CPM is coming, and then we go and vote for them. So that is subconsciously is a sub-nationalism which is working, especially in.
I think Tamil Nadu also.
But Tamil Nadu, yes, absolutely.
Annamalai was like a prime ministerial candidate, and to him you know what he said in the press conference after the loss? He said, whatever votes I have got have not been paid for.
Yeah.
Because everyone gets, I'll tell you, my help gets 6,000 from Congress, 6,000 from BJP and 6,000 from BJD. He lives in Odisha and he votes for BJP and that's how BJP won this time. But he says, हम लोग लेते सबसे हैं, देते जिसको मन है उसको देते हैं.
Anand, ये ठीक है, this will work. See, it is working in TMC,
But
it might stop working after a point of time.
No.
It did not work in Andhra, no?
But this freebie culture works has always worked in places like especially southern India. The entire Tamil Nadu politics is been dominated by this freebie culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was so surprising that someone who's against this culture coming in, even the younger population, right, relatively younger population, did not vote for Annamalai, did not vote for BJP.
But I have a question on this freebie
See,
culture
I just
thing. We
come to
are in
Bengal.
round table and
I
we
just come
have
to
seen
Bengal
so much
Yeah.
poverty. I'm sorry, you come to Bengal and there's so much poverty. Like we have seen how people do require food, right? Have you seen that video of Desh Premi? जहाँ पे like Samdesh.
नहीं.
So there's this guy Samdesh Unfiltered. I don't know if you've seen him. He went to this guy Desh Premi and वो उसे पूछता है, he's a OBC और scheduled caste, उसे पूछता है कि आप कितने बार खाना खाते हैं. बोलता है अगर मांग लेंगे तो 2 बार वरना 1 बार हो जाता है. बोला कि आप पानी कहाँ से लाते हैं? तो बोला कि वो गांव अलाउ नहीं करता है, कभी कभी अलाउ कर देता है तो पानी ले लेते हैं. But there's so much poverty. Like there has to be welfareism. So freebie culture has to be there. I'm sorry, but there is no other. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying they would have to increase welfareism.
No, I would like to differ. It's okay. Freebie होना चाहिए. सबको मिलेगा ना, पैसा तो चाहिए. Because ground level we also see at a part of round table, we see at a ground level पे पैसा तो नहीं है. But the problem which you stated in the previous statement is like my help gets from BJD also, from here also, from there also. So clearly the welfare schemes which have been run by the government and have increasing budget every year with a अपने ऊपर पैसा लगा के उन लोग को दे रहा है whatever it is. So that has to be very well targeted. It cannot be so generalized. See that it is still working.
But this time election commission got 20,000 crores in cash. But yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
So I'm saying if it is not targeted, if you do not do again a similar analysis of who needs what, then if you're doing it on general basis, see what happened to Andhra. So he said freebie will work. Freebie didn't work. Why said Congress? What did they do? They said, and they became complacent. They said, we are giving money to everybody. भैया सबको पैसा दे दिया. Everybody will vote for it. Everybody took money, but they voted for Naidu. So it will work to a certain extent. But उसके बाद क्या? Unless see you will. If I am the person. So if you talk to villagers, if I am the person who is getting 7,500 per month, I am happy, right? But I have got children. Now children will require employment, will require education, will require food.
मतलब इसके बाद क्या?
इसके बाद क्या? हर साल 7,500 ही मेरा रहेगा हर समय.
बोल लो
कितना
उमेश.
चलेगा?
I'll just come to Bengal.
उमेश बोल.
हाँ, बोल.
बंगाल का आप तो बात कर रहे हैं ना.
हाँ नहीं बंगाल का बात करें चलो बहुत देर से वेट कर रहा है.
This guy is biased
See,
towards.
why West Bengal? Particularly देखो अब 10 साल हो गया.
ये एक रील जाएगा वैसे हाँ उमेश.
See 10 साल हो गया मोदी जी को in power, but BJP is in the government, but Congress is in power. It does not protect its own cadre. That's a fact. In 2021, we've seen what happened in West Bengal once TMC ruling party came to power, and for about 10-15 days, what exactly happened here. Apart from that, it was ruling the center. It had 13-14 CMs in India, but they did nothing whatsoever. और ये जो perception है ना कि मोदी जी आएंगे, the central government will come in and help, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. The narrative BJP uses against Congress is Indira Gandhi got emergency. So Article 356 is out of the question, absolutely. Now what exactly happened in Bengal in spite of that? I'll give you some. In spite of 2021, look at the loyalty of the voters for BJP in 2024. 2 crore 75 lakh people voted for TMC. 45.76 our election commission data. 45.76% of vote share for TMC. BJP got 39% approximately. 2 crore 34 lakh people have voted for BJP. It's commendable by the BJP voters to come out and vote in spite of infighting, in spite of centre's reluctance, in spite of the so-called situation in West Bengal. So just blaming the voters is absolutely wrong.
Who is blaming the voters?
Generally that West Bengal is ye ho gaya, I don't think so. The problem only gets fixed from within. ये अंदर से ही you need to have
But do you think
because
we
there's a lot
should-
of infections in BJP also in Bengal.
But do you think you should blame the voters as well? 500 रुपए में वोट बेच देगा तो क्या वोटर है?
I absolutely love this.
Prashant Kishore.
Everybody does that. Why are you blaming a particular see?
That
One
is
thing you have to
required.
respect for
That's,
Mamata
that's,
Banerjee.
that's exactly what I feel is required for the future. It's voter awareness. It's how you create that awareness. Today the voter needs to be aware of what is he voting for? Why is he voting for it? Why is if there is a policy, if he wants something to be implemented today, like what does a farmer wants? A farmer wants his son to be educated. How does he get his son to get educated? Is there a scheme for it? Can he be a part of that scheme? If that voter awareness is not there, then yes, 500 रुपए में वोट बेच देगा. Because उसको क्या लगता है मेरा एक दिन का तो खर्चा निकल गया है. मेरे को 500 रुपया मिल गया, मेरे एक दिन का खर्चा निकल गया. चलो भाई जिसने दिया मेरा हो गया वोट काम.
नहीं क्षितिज.
You have to make him realize the power of his vote, which is why I love what Prashant Kishore says. Through his Jan Swaraj.
Yeah, Jan Swaraj.
It's like if you are not aware of what your vote is worth, you will do this only. You will वो लालू जी के बेटे को वोट करोगे and पलटू क्या पलटन कुमार
नीतीश.
You wait for 2 years.
Wait for 2 years. वो तो even दीदी से no.
But he will not survive without BJP.
West Bengal needs its own Gopal Pata.
No,
As simple
but
as that.
क्षितिज.
How many of you know Gopal Pata by the
The
way?
problem is.
क्या RSS?
नहीं.
Then
I don't.
हम ये जो नाम बोले हम सब RSS.
I tell you, because they're not aware.
या तो RSS को गए पढ़ा को.
In 1946, when there was a massacre happening in Calcutta, about 6 lakh Hindus were killed. Gopal Pata was a person who stood up and fought violence with violence. At that point of time, Mahatma Gandhi आके फिर यहाँ धरना किए थे. And he requested everyone to give up arms. It is a statement you can say on YouTube आप देख सकते हैं. You can see that he refused to even put down a nail. And Gopal Pata was the one for which we should be thankful that aaj Bengal, agar it's surviving or Hindus are surviving in Bengal, it's because of Gopal Pata. Do read about it. And
I will read about it.
But Bengal is okay.
No, I will read about it. But the problem
controversial.
with supporters is that everything ultimately, you talk about economy, you talk about unemployment, you talk about malnutrition, you talk about everything ultimately comes to how our Hindus have been already been prejudiced in history. Now they will be prejudiced in future. I understand that point. That can be one facet. But as you said that when you're talking about a voter and selling his vote for 500, he needs to have that vision where he can see his sons, daughters getting employment. Similarly, what is happening now with people at the rural level, obviously they've given answer this time to what the religion will not work every time. But you also need to know that religion is one facet of your life.
Yeah.
The other facets, which are more important, are supposed to be the decider for your vote, right?
Absolutely.
So if you ask me personally, I do not blame the voters. Because if you ask every entrepreneur, Anand will go and ask every entrepreneur, do you have a vision, do you have a vision, do you have a... They will say they have a vision. But internally they don't have a vision. Otherwise everybody would have become a Ratan Tata or Anand, right?
No, they might have a vision, but they don't know how to get to that.
I have a counter question for you. Now BJP in power for 10 years has done much more for minorities.
See,
That I agree
Sheer
with.
facts and numbers.
Again, I'm
in fact, it's deviated. In fact, the main contention or the problem of the Hindu voters who are voting hardcore BJP supporters are that in spite of voting for you, you are doing much more and you're not doing anything for us.
Okay, I'll give an example though, because we were talking about that vision thing. कि अयोध्या में there was this अयोध्या नहीं क्या constituency का क्या नाम? Faizabad. There was this village. I think you'll be able to tell better.
So about 21 population of the village, and it's almost 99% Muslim voters. And apparently the government of India had sanctioned 532 odd homes. Not one single vote went to BJP. I think that is what.
Not a single vote.
I agree. Basically, all the houses were built.
One thing is now we talk about performances. Just look at Congress's performance. Now Congress has got a vote share of 21% approximately in 2024. Almost 18 to 20% population is the minorities. So Congress has not done anything extraordinary in elections. BJP has come down, and that's why they're gloating about it.
See, you have to see it in the context of what challenges it was for opposition. I understand opposition has not done well. I also agree. Telangana, they swept the assembly elections, but they performed so badly for our Lok Sabha. Himachal Pradesh, Congress performed very badly. Rajasthan, obviously, it was a star for Congress, but I agree. Opposition has not done amazingly well. They gloat about it for next 5 years. But one thing, make no mistake, this time the opposition will be very strong.
No, but I should. We have spoken so much.
But this thing about anti-incumbency also only works or only gets applied only when you have a strong opposition.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it makes no sense. Otherwise, what will happen is what happens in Bengal, where one party stays in power because there is no anti-incumbency only because there is no opposition. Effectively,
Probably we should be thankful that opposition didn't come to power this year, because if it would have come to power, I don't know who will be our education minister. There would have no coherence in terms of what their statements would be, what their plans would be, because there is no coherence at all in the India lines.
Irrespective.
So I think 2029 would be a good year. He might disagree, or a lot of people might disagree.
My vote is for Yogi ji.
No, but
Absolutely.
I'll give you, because a lot of people think that there will be another hardliner who will become the Prime Minister, but I want to change the course a little bit of this conversation, because we've spoken a lot about 224, but delimitation is coming soon. The women's reservation will be enacted right after delimitation. So what do you think will happen in 2029? Because it's a different ball game. It's not the same politics that we've seen till today.
So we all know that there is reservation for women in panchayat level seats also, right? Already
50%,
existing,
right?
yes, already existing.
33%, right?
But it's a farce.
50%.
It's a farce to
That's
a large
right.
extent. What happens in Bihar with Rabri Devi becoming chief minister, and Lalu Yadav
JMM also.
JMM also, Soren's wife also.
Yeah, Sunita Kejriwal also.
Sunita Kejriwal
Coming
is
up.
not the chief
So
minister, but
majority of it is going to remain the same in terms of the back end of politics. Yes, reservation in the sense people will have to get elected, will be women, but this dynamics I think at the back will remain the same.
No, I don't think so. I think it might take time.
It'll not happen in the next elections.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the
The one
elections
after that, that's when, unless there is this, massive women awakening, which can happen in the
because of
country.
AI and information technology. Like everyone might have a smartphone.
No, I think
Yeah.
it might.
If this happens, if that women awakening happens by the time women realize.
Women awakening has not happened.
So it's a very
controversial topic. Obviously, it will happen in next 15 years. I also foresee that it will have an impact. And to say that it will not have any impact in any of the 543 seats is also wrong to say.
Of course.
People at the core, as I said, candidate selection does matter. And when they see women and they clearly see that the person who's behind that woman is also not popular or has not done good work for the constituency, they will not vote for that woman, right?
Absolutely.
So, but if a woman who comes on her own, independent, and who's ready to voice her opinion in the parliament for them, I think apart from the where the caste politics is too much, religion politics is too much, it will matter in some constituencies.
Ground level politics, do you actually see? Politics is a
but
dirty
again,
game.
I just
Do you see-
particularly
do you
for
see-
women, if you on the subject itself, Smriti Irani from Amethi lost. Now she's done tremendous work in the last 7-8 years. In fact, 14 when she lost, she was in Amethi only, and from 19 onwards, after being the MP from Lok Sabha from Amethi, she done tremendous work. She lost by a margin of more than 1 lakh some odd votes.
Big margin.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
Because the
about
upper caste was
in spite of doing tremendous work for the
See,
constituency.
tremendous work.
See,
is
upper
very
caste was
subjective.
against her. No, the
Upper caste definitely
Brahmins
was
were
against.
against
Yeah,
her.
absolutely against her.
I think again it's a perception.
Perception
that
is perception, huh?
Yeah. Her perception, the perception that she creates is slightly negative.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Not negative, aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Again, see, that's the thing when women come into politics is what's going to work for and against.
No,
them.
and
one politics.
Also,
is
the
dirty.
candidate who was standing against Smriti Irani, Kishore Irani, they were
Very humble guy.
very humble guy. Number one. Number two, they have been
Ground level.
promoted. Obviously, ground guy associated with Amethi for a very long
Yeah.
time. Plus, they have also worked in a favor when. So, what has not worked in favor of BJP this time is they are going against. So, what happened in 2014
I
and
think a lot
19?
of
What
the
I think
union ministers
is
were
Rahul
actually lost
Gandhi
seats.
was or the opposition.
No.
The
Most of them.
Margins come down, but
the opposition were answering to what Modi ji was saying. So narrative was being done by Modi ji and opposition.
Ulta ho
This
gaya.
time it has been ulta.
Correct.
So Rahul Gandhi has been very careful in not
What's
mentioning.
it? Yes.
खटाखट
Modi ji.
Yes.
हर औरत के खाते में 8,000 रुपए 8,000 रुपए हर महीना
all Muslim women are lining up in Congress offices
Yeah.
saying कि मेरे को 2 राहुल गांधी की गारंटी कार्ड लेके they have gone to Congress offices की दीजिए
40 lakh crore rupees in 1 year.
3.5 लाख करोड़
नहीं किसी के पास ना 15 लाख देने का पैसा है गवर्नमेंट के पास, ना 8,500 देने का पैसा है और ना 2,500
लाख का आप बताइए कहाँ पर था?
क्या बोले मोदी जी जब आइए महंगाई के सारा पैसा
आगे में देंगे, show
ये नहीं बोले थे।
You prove it right now.
वो बोल
I will admit
I agree with him. He
You prove it right
he
now.
said that इतना पैसा है बाहर में कि
हो जाएगा।
हो जाएगा like he said 15 लाख
Modi has
का
said
पैसा
that
है।
quote unquote what he said.
No, you show the evidence right now. 15 lakh rupees he'll put into every person's account. You show it right now. I'll admit.
I will quote unquote.
No, you show it right now. We've had this conversation before.
What to show?
नहीं तो 15 लाख रुपया
Voters
मोदी
have
जी ने
showed
कहा कि
BJP.
हमारे खाते में डालेंगे, आगे दिखा दिए। मैं मान लूंगा, चलिए।
बट लोग अभी भी सोचते हैं कि आएगा।
ये बोलता रहता है ऐसे लोग। people
अगर आप show
show
47 में आएगा।
never get to count.
मोदी जी बहुत कुछ बोले थे छोड़ो anyways.
अरे not going into that. 15 लाख
ऐसे
का
15 लाख को क्या बोले?
ऐसे में ध्रुव राठी इस वीडियो से क्लिप करेंगे
नहीं वो क्या बोले मोदी जी क्या बोले सारा पैसा बाहर से लेके आएंगे और इतना पैसा है बाहर कि अगर हम लोग डिवाइड करते हैं उनको 15 लाख रुपए आपके खाते में मिलेंगे सब मिलेंगे और स्पेशली जो सैलरीड क्लास है जो टैक्स देता है उनको तो मिलना ही चाहिए तो मैं सारा पैसा बाहर से लेके आऊंगा अब यू कनेक्ट द डॉट वो बोल रहा है बाहर का पैसा 15 लाख हुआ है बाहर से
याद रखना ये वीडियो एडिट होना बाकी है वो क्लिप डालेगा
दो कमेंट्स
whatever it is what you talking about delimitation
No, but I just feel like 2029 will be a very different election.
Yes.
It is not what we have been seeing for the last
Coming back to what you were saying, when women get into politics, now this perception about Smriti Irani being aggressive, that also works against women. India as a society actually is not, at least at the ground level, is not that acceptable to women.
aggressive women.
Powerful women. Bengal as a cultural thing is
fair enough.
accepts it because
Why?
we have matriarchy. Tamil Nadu, we have matriarchy.
Northeastern India.
Yeah, matriarchal
UP
societies they
Why
accept
UP
this.
had Mayawati, Kshitij?
UP had Mayawati because not as a woman.
You elected Sonia
Not as a
Gandhi from
woman.
Raebareli for the past 25 years.
Not as a
Congress.
woman. UP had this thing Mayawati for caste reasons, not for.
See, I
Jayalalitha was
think
very
to
aggressive.
think that we will not vote for aggressive women is very intellectual. Like I as
Why
a
would you
person.
not vote for women CM?
No, he's saying aggressive women.
People perceive them.
But I think that is
I
very
don't think-
intellectual.
I don't think
What happened with Smriti Irani?
That's exactly to our question.
I think that's because upper caste did not like her.
Upper caste did not
In
vote for
spite of doing so much work, Smriti Irani.
In spite of doing-
Politics is not easy at that level. For
it's not
women
easy.
to come up in the ground level, I think it's very
Okay, but
difficult.
honestly, like, just before we end this round of discussion and move on to our next episode, it's like, what are your views on Viksit Bharat 2047?
I think just.
The definition of Viksit Bharat is economic inclusion. Economic inclusion can happen
But you think that disparity can come
yes,
down?
it has to come down. It has to come down. India has to grow. The disparity has to come down. Work has to happen at the lower sections and basically at the village level. The rural economy has to go.
I
up.
really want to quote something by Annamalai that he said in an interview. Some person asked him, like, what is Viksit Bharat? What is 25 years of planning? And Sanjeev Sanyal and Annamalai were there. And they said that everything comes down to fertility rate. That's how the Modi government has planned the next 25 years. Because the fertility rate of India is going down, we will peak our population at 1.5, 1.6 billion and then we'll drastically go down. So one of the reasons he's developing infrastructure and not schools and education and all that, because he know that the number of kids will not be much after 5-6 years. And by 2047, given the population decline and given the wealth redistribution, because it automatically will happen. Japan is an example of that. Because the population is declining over the last 20 years. पहली बार 20 साल के बाद recession से ऊपर निकला है. So the wealth has been redistributed to everyone so beautifully that everyone has money. India में जब तक population बढ़ रहा है तब तक so अभी we are growing at 8%. If America grows at 2% and China grows at 5% for a developed economy, India needs to grow at 13.5% to catch up. By 2047. In order for us to catch up, there are two things that have to happen parallelly. First is your fertility rate has to decline, in the sense the population has to decline. And the second thing is for a 13.5%, we can grow at 8%.
Population declines,
We are growing at
per capita goes up.
We are growing at 6.5, 7, whatever. I am saying for 13% to happen, you need AI. You need automated systems for the rest of the 5-6% of the growth, which will have financial inclusion. कि अगर किसी के पास एकदम पैसा नहीं है तो अगर आइडेंटिफाई और अगर भिखारी है रास्ता से उसको उठाओ उसको रिहैबिलिटेट करो.
Basically, it has to be directed in the right way.
जैसे 24 crore
I
people
think
came out of
it is a great
multinational
ambition to have. There is nothing wrong in having that ambition of becoming a developed economy. What I perceive as a developed economy is just so. For example,
Less economic disparity.
GDP per capita, right? GDP per capita of India currently is $2,400.
And that also with so much disparity.
$2,400 for America is $22,000, right?
32.
$32,000.
And China is-
China is 17.
China is
17. Well, 17, 18 something.
So if we assume that we are growing at 6.5, which we believe now under Modi government is doing very well. So if we 6.5% year on year till 2047 also, we will not catch up with China also in terms of per capita, right? Number one. Number two, obviously we will make some different, as he said, 13.5 or some odd years where we are growing at 11-12%. I'm sure we will grow, and I hope we grow. But also, important thing for a developed economy is also inclusion, as you said, right? So currently, if you see HDI, Human Development Index, I think they will run 134 out of 183, right? So 134 out of 193. Today, I'll give you a very simple example. Today, 35% of the children are malnutrition, right? Tomorrow, these children which are malnutrition, they are stunted because the growth will stunted, their mental growth is stunted. Tomorrow, in 2040, 2045, when they become a part of labor force, so they need to be capable enough to foster that growth where we become a developed economy.
Absolutely.
So to say that just the GDP is growing, which is 30 trillion, which is what the target has been said, so just the GDP growing will not help. You need to improve in your HDI, the education has to improve, the malnutrition has to improve to make sure that that labor force, plus this freebie culture needs to be stopped, because what you are doing is you are taking people away from the labor force. You are distributing 7,500, you are doing Manrega.
So I read this in a book, and if you look at past economies which have done well and growth, where a country has sustained growth over a long period of time, it's only when people come out of the farm to factories and from factories to cities, when that progression happens, only then does the economy move forward. It's always bottom up, never
that progression will help when the basics are being taken care
Yeah,
of.
absolutely.
And when I say 35% are malnutrition, which means they're not getting, I mean, you talk about nutrition, we're not talking enough nutrition to have a sustainable growth of a
Oh
brain.
yes, I have
No,
to
I
say
think
this before I
it's a very
close.
important
I have to
point.
say this before I close, and I heard this I think a few days ago. Like the Narendra Modi's government is giving 80 crore people ration
Yeah.
and anaj and
But
whatnot.
malnutrition,
No, that's not that.
No.
The thing is that I heard this in a podcast also, and I just want to reiterate that. The 99% of all the nutrition being given is carbohydrates. You're starting another pandemic.
Yeah.
You're starting a pandemic of insulin resistance and diabetes just by doing that. And that level of thinking has to come. That level of
Yes.
scientific thinking has to
Correct.
come.
But they are also, I mean, I'm adding to, because I know about this one policy. So what they've done is basically when they're distributing free ration, the free ration that's going to people, the rice is fortified. So they've added fortification to
That's
all
vitamins and minerals. but-
Yeah, vitamins and minerals, but
Still carbs, no?
Yeah,
Still carbs. So that's what I'm saying, that 90% of all children and poor people are just having carbs.
but that's how you keep your stomach full, right?
No, see again, in a social aspect, I
rupee per
agree.
gram
In a
basis,
social
Yeah,
aspect, I agree.
I will circle around your statement, which
Yeah.
you mentioned, Prashant Kishore, that people need to vote for something more than 500 rupees,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
If they are getting food, the government will give food and take votes.
Yeah.
If they are giving the votes for 500 rupees, the government will give 500 rupees. Tomorrow you ask for education, you ask for protein or a fat, a good fat in your mid-meal scheme, or
think-
probably more targeted kind of freebies.
I think this is something that I genuinely believe in.
But Ajit,
You
isn't
have to
exactly-
make your demands known. People need to know
See, but
what you
Ajit,
want.
People know what they demand, but ultimately what happens is when you press that button no.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you, and I can speak from people around me also. I mean, it's a very small group of people around me who will talk about BJP. So I'm not against BJP or against any. So I will probably be critical of. So a person cannot do everything right every time. Right?
Yeah.
So tomorrow, people. So I was talking to. I'll give a final example of. I was talking to a gentleman. I read somewhere also, and they talked about the exact same thing, and I also got to experience this. So I was talking to a gentleman. He's a staunch BJP supporter. He will vote for BJP. That
Your
was for
father?
sure. No. My father, my mother is not a BJP. So my father is a staunch BJP supporter, but he still watches news. But the gentleman I was speaking, he said I stopped watching mainstream media because after a point you realize that a person cannot be right every time. There has to be some wrong, right? So the point of this fractured mandate is, I think it has done wonders for the country because probably the government will realize where they have gone wrong, right?
Yeah.
So if we really want to get into the ambition of Viksit Bharat,
But
I personally think the basics have to be catered.
Interjecting right now, it is not a fractured mandate. It is a clear-cut majority for NDA.
And with that we end our first episode.
Not a fractured
We have not named this yet, so they who must not be named. And please give your comments below. Please comment. These are just our personal opinions. If you like us, please comment. If you don't like us,
Please
still
don't
comment
spread
because we want views and we want engagement and we want sponsorships.
We don't.
So
We have enough
please
hate
go
in the
ahead.
country. We don't want more.